Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Chrysalis Effect. I am Monique White, your host, and here in the Chrysalis Effect, we are transforming your mind, money, and manifestations. We tackle issues, bring on experts that can provide strategies for you to succeed in every area of your life, not just entrepreneurship, because being an entrepreneur is a 360 view. So we focus on transforming your mind, money, and manifestation. And today I am super, super excited to have for you expert, a beautiful woman of God, Dr. Saundra Wall Williams. She is the CEO and founder of WMS Corporation. She's also a retired higher education executive who went out and started her own personal and professional development firm. As a minister, she is a leader, and her focus is on career development, leadership development, and ministry development. She's also the founder of the Vision Building Institute, where she provides coaching, mentorship, and consulting. And today she's going to be speaking with us about alignment with your divine assignment. Alignment with your divine assignment. So I want to welcome Dr. Saundra to Chrysalis Effect.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm super excited. Alignment with your divine assignment. She's going to give us 4 concrete steps. I know you're going to bring it today. So tell us a little bit more. I gave your bio is so in depth, and you have such a wealth of knowledge and such experience. Tell us a little bit more about how you came to this. You were talking about alignment with your divine assignment. How did you recognize that this was your divine assignment?
Wow, that's a great question. So first of all, again, thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast, be a guest today. It's always a pleasure. And talking about being in alignment with your divine assignment is really one of my favorite topics to talk about. I had been in corporate America. And I had been in education. I've been in government. So I've got, like you said, a wealth of experience, over 30 years in leadership. I retired as a senior vice president for all 58 community colleges in the state of North Carolina, 25 years of ministry, in ministry teaching at high levels there. And so one of the things I found, though, is that I did all of that, and there were still things that were missing. There were still components of my life that just didn't seem to line up. I loved what I did. I loved the work I did in terms of being a professor, being an administrator in higher education. I loved everything I did, but there was still something not missing. And what I realized is that there was a calling on my life. Now I was in ministry too. I'm in ministry too, but there was still something I was not doing. And when I realized that calling was that really the calling needed to be in alignment with all the other gifts and the things that God had given me. And so when I looked at, okay, God, what is my assignment? What do you want me to be doing in this season of my life? And I began to get my business, the ministry, everything in alignment with that. Then I started to have this feeling of, oh, I am doing exactly what God wants me to do. That's where that alignment with your divine assignment comes from.
Yes. So it started with the ask.
Yes. Started with the ask.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
So before we jump in, you just said something that you stopped and you said, God, what do you want me to do in this season? Right. And then the feeling came and things started to mesh together. So can we extrapolate from that if you ask and you're still operating or feeling that dissonance, that disconnect, that frustration, can you extrapolate that at that point in time, you really need to think, okay, maybe this is not in alignment.
You
to what
know,
I've been doing.
yeah, Monique, one of the things I found out is that I thought I was asking, but I kept asking, and I still kept working. I still kept doing the things, working at my job. I still kept working in ministry. But what I figured out was that I don't have clarity. I don't have clarity and focus in some areas of my life. And so there was like a couple of things that I realized. And I see this a lot with a lot of the women that I work with, is that you have a great job or you have a great ministry, but there's still some things missing. And how do you know they're missing? Is because you don't have clarity, you don't have focus in some areas of your life. You're in a constant state of overwhelm and busyness, and sometimes you don't get results or impact. I was always doing things. I mean, people were Dr. Saundra, can you come speak at this? Or Dr. Saundra, can you do this? And I'm sure you're the same way. I mean, people are always asking you and wanting you for your advice. They want to take you to lunch, they want you to mentor them, they want you to solve their problem in an hour, kind of thing. And then you're in a constant state of overwhelm. And don't forget, your family, your own physical health, your financial health, all those things. And you're doing a lot, but then you feel overwhelmed or you feel busy. And then the last thing that the Lord really showed me is that my relationships weren't lined up with where he was taking me. And that's one of the things that, I really struggled with, because I realized that if I was going to go to a higher level or a different level, wherever it was that God was taking me, that I had to be open and to get in relationship with people who were going in the same direction that I was going in. And so what I found out is that when you're not focused, when you're too busy or overwhelmed, you're not getting any results, and your relationships don't line up, then that's what's going to yield to the frustration, because you want to go somewhere. You know that there's a vision for your life. You know that there's something that you want to be able to do. Something that's been in your heart for a very long time. It could be ministry. It could be your career. It could be something in your life, but you're just not getting there because all these other things, you're struggling with all these other things, your relationships, you're overwhelmed, you're not focused, you don't have that clarity. So once I figured out, okay, these are my problems, these are the problems that I'm seeing, then that's when I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to be doing? What would you have me to do in this time and in this season? And that's where it was a time to sit down and just get clarity, get coaching, get some mentoring about where I wanted to go. So I didn't think I was crazy,
Right. Okay. So tell us then, how do we get in alignment with our divine assignment? So we're not being busy. We're not stuck in the busyness. We're not getting overwhelmed. Our relationships aren't getting out of whack. How do we get into alignment with our divine assignment?
Well, I tell you, first of all, recognize what your divine assignment is. Okay. Recognize that your divine assignment are the tasks that God has given specifically to you to accomplish. And here's the key. This is what really, really gets me excited right here, is that God has given you something to accomplish in every single area of your life. Okay. And when he gives you something to accomplish, it means that there are things that you have to accomplish in your personal life. That could be relationships, that could be in your marital life as a mom, that have specific results and outcomes attached to them. There are things that God wants you to accomplish in your career, again, that has specific outcomes and things attached to them. In your ministry life, in your financial life, in your health. That's one of the ones that I was lagging on really big time. There are things that he wants you to accomplish, and there are assignments that you have in every single area of your life.
Do you struggle with fear of the future, or with being stressed and overwhelmed? Maybe you're having a hard time moving forward due to lack of discipline and limiting beliefs. Or Maybe it's that you don't know where to start and you're afraid you will not overcome your current circumstances to live the life of your dreams. Perhaps you just need a guiding hand to transition into entrepreneurship or to thrive in it. At Triumph Services LLC, we understand all of that, which is why we walk with you and offer the support you need to transform your mind, money, and manifestations to help you achieve your wildest dreams. Our transformational coaching and business consulting services are focused on nurturing the fire and beauty you carry within so that you can make your mark in the world and inspire generations. We want to see you prosper, and we want to see it happen the right way. Schedule a connection call with us by going to bit.ly/evertransform today.
Okay. Now, once we get that part, is that you don't have just one assignment. There's not just one assignment. You have several. But what we tend to do is we tend to say, okay, I have a ministry assignment, and you forget that you have an assignment as a mom, or you have an assignment as a wife, or you say, I have a career assignment. This is where I want to get in my career. And then you forget, oh my goodness, I've got to take care of my physical self. I've got to take care of my finances. But if we remember that every single area of your life has a divine assignment attached to it. And then here's the other part that's really, really key that goes along with that. And in every area of your life, you can be in a different season in your life.
Wow. Talk about that, because you don't really think of it that way. And I think sometimes that gets missed. You expect everything to be on the same plane. So let's talk about that a little bit more. What do you mean by you can be in different seasons in different areas of your life?
Well, what I mean by that is, you can be in your let's pick a couple of areas. So like, for example, right now I've been married for it'll be 31 years in July, at the end of July, right? So in my personal marriage life, I'm in a whole different season than I am in my entrepreneur life. Okay. In my entrepreneur life, I'm still learning and growing. Doesn't mean I'm not learning and growing in my marriage, in my married life. I just have more time and more experience in it. So in my entrepreneur life, in my business, I am in a season of still learning, still growing, still putting together systems, putting together all the things that work for my company and my firm. That's a different kind of season than I am in my married life, okay? Because I am more mature in my married life, that sort of thing, which is even different season than I'm in for my own physical life, because you got to take care of yourself physically, okay? Because I'm 50, I'll be 58 in July. And so when at that time, there are things that are happening to me physically that are new to me, different season. And there are outcomes that are expected from me with each one of those seasons. And for each assignment, there's a different season. So if you try to treat every single assignment like it's at the same level, you're doing the same thing, you're at the same level with it, then it leads to frustration. You have to know the season that you're in. Like, for example, I always define the seasons like they are in the Bible. So, for example, the Bible tells us that, there's a preparation season. You think about there's a planting season, there's a watering season, and there's a harvest season. So, and we could go really in depth into that. But when you think about your life, think about the things that you are doing and ask yourself, is God preparing me? Is he planting me? Am I getting watered, which means am I getting coached and mentored? Is that what I need now? Or is this a time where I'm in a harvest time where everything's great and I'm really getting exactly what I've been praying for, what God want me to have? And so when you think about the seasons of your divine assignment, you can't say that every assignment in every area is in the same season. It's almost like you're a multifaceted person. You could be a mom, a wife, an aunt, a sister, a daughter, and the areas in your life could have different levels as well. And when you think about that, you have seasons, and for every assignment, and look at each assignment individually, but
Mm-hmm.
know that they're all your assignments and you've got to work with them, then you start being in alignment, because then instead of praying, God, give me favor, you'll be very specific in your prayers. You'll say, God, for
Right.
my financial life, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I am in my financial life. This is what I know I want to be doing. So, and then when you have the ask, God, what do you want me to be doing in this season in my life? He can tell you specifically. In your business as an entrepreneur, you may be like, God, what I'm doing is not working. I'm trying my very best. I've gotten coaching, I've gotten this and gotten that, but it's not working. Recognize the season that you're in, recognize the assignment of that season, and then pray specifically and ask God, what do you want me to be doing? How do I carry out this component of my business in terms of seasons?
Right. I love that. And I love that analogy of I'm a South Jersey girl. So I get I get the whole, prepare and plant and sow it, harvesting, all that stuff, nurturing, the different seasons of planting. So you recognize that you have a divine assignment in every area of your life, and you recognize that you might be in different seasons in different areas of your life. What is the next step? Where do you go from there?
The next step is, once you recognize what your assignment is and then what season you're in for that assignment, then you have to have what I call a clear plan of focus for that assignment. So what exactly should you be doing now in that assignment? Okay. So let's take, for example, you want to get another job, or you even want to get a promotion on the job that you're in. But say, for example, the promotion requires you going back to school and getting some certification. All right. So if you're going to, if this is the season to do, if you're in the season and time in your life where, I can go back to school, my finances are lined up, I can go back to school physically, I feel good. I'm not at a point where I have to go back and forth, doctor's offices and that sort of thing. I can go to school. It's my family's okay with it. All that's lined up. Then you say, okay, what is it going to take me? What is it going to take for me to go back to school? Okay. Then you literally map out a plan, and that is going to be your focus. That will be your focus. So you may not know every single step of the plan, but the key is, okay, what's the first thing I have to do? Okay, so if I've got to go back to school, then I've got to carve out some time every single day to be able to say, okay, I got to get my financial aid ready. I got to sign up for classes. I got to decide what school I want to go back to. What is my major going to be? And how is this going to integrate with the work that I'm doing? Making sure that if you're doing something at work, making sure that you've got enough time such that you can go to school and continue to work and do all the other things that you do. So having that clear plan of focus and documenting it. One of the things that when we talk about a clear plan of focus, it's more than just saying, okay, I'm going to carve out some time, but it's also looking at that assignment, because if your assignment is to go back to school, then what are the actions that go along with that assignment? That's part of the clear plan of focus. Okay. What are the results that you're looking for? Like, once I go back to school, am I looking to just take a few classes, or am I looking at getting a degree? I mean, because there's a difference in the two. Some you may just need classes. Okay. So what are the results that I'm looking for? What's the impact that it's going to have on me? And then what's the impact it's going to have on others? Because if you don't define those things, then it's like, I'm just doing something and I have no real reason to do it, and then what happens is you get frustrated. You get, you're going to need clarity again. You get overwhelmed. But if you get that clear plan at the beginning, and that's where you're focused on. And here's the other part of that is, know that your clear plan of focus has to be flexible, because life happens.
Right.
Life happens, and then when life happens, then your seasons could shift. And if your seasons shift, your assignment's going to stay the same, Okay. But if your seasons shift and then your plan of focus has to be flexible enough to shift with the season that you're in. Okay. Like right now, I have my business, my company it's going really well. It's moving forward. I'm getting lots of different things that I'm doing and I love it and everything. And then in March 26th, my mother went into the hospital. And then on April 7th, my mother passed away. And so now I'm in a whole different season in terms of who I am for my family. I'm the only girl. So, before my mom was the matriarch of the family, and now that role and responsibility is on me. So my season has shifted in terms of where my time is allocated. So now, I have more time devoted to my dad and the things that he needs from me, where before, my mom took care of all that. Just something as simple as washing his clothes and getting his dinner and making sure he's got food at the house, because he doesn't live in the same city that I do. So making sure all those things are working for him. But at the same time, I still got to run my business. So what does that mean? I've got to make some shifts in my business. Okay, I had to make some things more automated, do some more give delegation of work than I hadn't done in the past. So you have to remember that even though you're very focused, okay, I want to go back to school, for example, I want to do this, I want to do that. Be flexible enough that if your seasons change and life happens and something happens and you have to make a shift for whatever reason, then make sure that your plan of focus is flexible enough that you don't lose sight of the assignment.
Right. And I'm so glad that you said that about being flexible, because that was going to be my question to you. Because I love that you said, document, being create a clear plan and focus, but and document it out, breaking that down, reverse engineering, so to speak. But I love that you said being flexible, because I think sometimes we get so focused on the plan and we forget that life happens. But as you said, we have different areas of our life and things happen, life happens. And then you get frustrated when you have to, the plan's not working out the way that you thought. Exactly. But that's okay. But and we forget to give ourselves grace to be flexible.
Right. Yeah. And, and so many times, when I work with women and they have this great path that they're on, oh, I'm going to do this, I've got this vision and I'm going to run with them. Nothing wrong with that. But they don't give themselves the opportunity just to sit back. They don't build in, and sometimes you can't build in time for something that you don't know is going to happen. You can't build in time. But what you can do though is make sure that whatever you're focusing on is flexible enough, and you're flexible enough so that you can kind of step back and do whatever needs to be done in a different area or for a different assignment. Like I said, assignments change. Now. Before my mother passed, my assignment for my dad was different than my assignment is now. And so, and we have to recognize that. So again, remember that you have number one, you have an assignment in every area of your life. And in that, every assignment, there are seasons for every assignment. Then once you determine what your assignment is, number two, make sure you have a clear plan of focus, and you're going to keep your focus on that until it gets completed, or until God tells you to stop, whichever one comes first.
At Triumph Services LLC, we believe that you don't have to live broke, busted, and disgusted. You don't have to stay stuck and stagnant. You were created for more. Call today to learn how at 301-259-1623. That number again is 301-259-1623. 1623.